and the Cidiots, and I forgot to start recording before that. But now I'm in. And people, it'll be a web exclusive. It'll be a podcast audio exclusive. The very beginning of this podcast this time, because we are recording on video for the YouTube channel.
We're basically like Lord of the Rings if it was a podcast. So you have the regular podcast and then the extended bonus features. You have to watch the video.
Yeah, I actually get the extended features every week. I get them all, and I try to cut out so much
so much
of our features. Yeah, I try, but it went up relatively uncut on YouTube for the season 5 finale, at least. If people haven't seen it yet, if you want to see our faces in our studios, you can. I'm Kevin McCaffrey, and I'm here with your favorite gentleman,
John, relatively uncut daily.
Relatively uncut daily. Now, we have talked about how cut our dicks are before, and that's not technically true for you.
Mm-hmm. Not technically.
Yeah.
So cut, dude. Cut.
It's so cut, it's fucking ripped.
Try finding foreskin on my dick, dude. Good luck.
Tell you what, I won't, but I know I wouldn't find any. Follow us on Instagram, where there won't be any foreskin either, at Sex and the Cidiots on Instagram, on Twitter at SexIdiotsPod. That's Twitter, and email us if you like, sexandthecidiots@gmail.com. And John, do you know, is there any business to get to before I announce the name of the episode here?
It's just the perfect present, which is about Carrie. This is the one where Carrie dates a time traveler who named Sam Beckett, who is leaped into the past to try to right something that once went wrong.
Yeah, man, that show could. Let's reboot that show for real life now. IRL.
It's on
right?
Pluto TV, dude. It's on. You can watch it. You can.
Pluto TV? Did you, John, did you come up in this podcast and say Pluto TV?
Yeah, dude. Dude, I cut the cord, so I got to watch my old bullshit TV shows wherever I can. And,
I feel like
Pluto TV.
I think I've heard Pluto is the planet in charge of nasty stuff. I feel like Pluto has a nefarious edge to the things it's involved with. I think I've heard. But yeah, the perfect present. John told you what you guys, and that's the episode. We're done. It is episode 3 of season 6. The perfect present is what it's called. This was directed by David Frankel, who we have mentioned before. You know our rule, but I will tell you,
it's Bethany Frankel's husband.
Yes, he invented the skinny man margarita. She was the skinny girl, right?
Yeah, sure. As far as I know, sure. Is this? And I'm confused, Kevin. I just want to make sure. Is this 6A or 6B?
This is 6A, 6-3A, or 6A3, or A63. I don't know canon the way we're supposed to be referring to this, but
okay.
Director David Skinny Man Frankel, he previously directed Coulda, Woulda, Shoulda, and Just Say Yes. So if you remember those episodes, those are the ones
classics.
Yes, classics. And this is written by, John, do you have a feeling who this was written by?
I mean, since you bring it up, I've got to say it's my man, MP King.
It's not. It's Bix. It's took it hard. It's a Jenny Bix episode.
Oh, it's a Bix.
I've been listening to another podcast, great thing to talk about on your podcast, called Origins, and it talks about how Sex and the City came together. It's got interviews with the cast members and stuff. And I got to say, after listening to all that, my stock is higher on MP King, a little lower on Darren Star.
Wow.
So I'll lay that out there.
You say Darren Star like that's a name I should know. Or
he created the show.
But he created the show, but it's based on a woman's book, right?
That's correct. Candace Bushnell, who he was just friends with. They hung out. I don't want to say he's like
a Blatch.
I think he's a Blatch if Blatch and Big had a baby. He's a biggish Blatch, is what I would say. Wow. But that, so everyone listening to us right now knows that already, so that's not news.
Oh, okay.
But should I read the HBO recap, I suppose?
I wish you would.
I wish a motherfucker would. Carrie visits Berger's apartment for the first time and discovers his X-file. Ooh, you get it? John, you were a fan of that show, right?
Dude, I wrote that motherfucking line down. I like that line so much. It was good.
Nice. Oh, I didn't even realize that was a line in the show. Sometimes I find myself taking too many notes. Charlotte sacrifices pieces of her past as the day of her official conversion to Judaism approaches. A diaper bag discovery forces Miranda to deal with the reality of Steve's new relationship, and in a bit of a role reversal, Samantha waits, that's in quotes, on Jerry the waiter. There we go, dude.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I wonder what that diaper bag discovery could be. It's an adult diaper full of Steve's poop.
I'm so sorry. John, I
I'm
got
stuck in traffic.
Steve took a shit. I just did the air horn sound effect. I know you couldn't hear, but John, I got a question for you. Speaking of sound effects. So, John, what are you drinking? He's drinking Evan MF and Williams right now with Coke. Are you going straight up Coke? Now, John, you used to be a Pepsi boy, right?
I'm making a Jack and Coke in my mouth, baby. I used to be this. Someone else bought this, and I forget what the pretenses were. Oh, you know what? We ordered enough Chinese food where we got the free 2-liter, and
getting a free
Coke.
Getting a free see, that's a difference between Long Island and the city, John. When I order a lot of Chinese food, I get a can. You get a 2-liter.
Oh, shit. Man, that should be in a rap song about how wealthy someone is. You order Chinese food, you get a can. I'm not good at rhyming stuff, so I won't continue. But
yeah, that's fine.
You get the point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
that's what I'm having. I had a few beers before this too, so don't worry. I'm
nice.
I'm even keeled, baby. Bombay Sapphire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm doing gin and tonics as we speak right now. I was on tequila earlier, and now we're all caught up on how we be boozing.
Did you ever watch, and just super quick aside, Kevin, super quick. Did you ever watch Top Chef?
No, I don't like food shows.
That's too bad, because I used to have like a mixologist on from Bombay Sapphire, and they'd have to have people make a creation that would go with Bombay Sapphire's unique blend of berries and smells and shit.
You using the fancy accent to say berries and smells and shit is very that does it for me, I'll say.
All right. Great. So tell me, Kevin, how many people exactly watched this show?
John, thanks for asking. This aired on July 6th, 2003, and 6.95 million. So we popped a pretty good number on this one. And we had a guest star appearance by Jennifer Coolidge, who we'll get into later. So that's pretty fun.
I loved it.
And then I think we're ready to just get into the motherfucking episode. How do you want to start, John?
Oh, man. Well, I got to say, the girls were out today. Carrie putting them on the glass. If she was Sir Mix-a-Lot, that's what she'd say. That was his second single, folks.
I like that you say if she was Sir Mix-a-Lot, that's what she'd say, because logically following that thread, it's that if Sir Mix-a-Lot himself had boobs that he was putting on the glass. And John, you and I have both put our boobs on the glass at a Mardi Gras situation before, so it's not even that silly for a man to do.
No. And he probably has some impressive stuff to put on the glass.
Yeah, I bet he's packing.
But Carrie here, just wearing a nice like sort of gingham number, and she's doing sort of a room raider situation, right? It's a little bit of an apartment check. It's the first time she's at Jack Beef's apartment.
It is. Intro to beef tartare. It's early beef.
Beef raw, yeah.
Yeah. She says that as part of her opening voiceover, she says, every woman, I think she says woman in New York, the podcasts, I'm sure there's podcasts that try harder and are more verbatim about what they write down. But she says something to the effect of every woman has three important firsts. First time they have good sex, or first time they have sex, first time they have good sex, and the first time they see the apartment of a guy they like. So, John, does that sound right?
Oh, man. Absolutely. I remember when all those things happen. Well, 2 of the 3 with Kristen. She's still waiting on the good sex, but it'll come.
Yeah.
It'll come.
Hold on. That deserves a sound effect. There we go. Thank you. Yeah. How long would you say for you the gap was between sex and good sex?
In my life?
Yeah.
0.0 probably.
So you're saying
somewhere in that neighborhood.
You're saying you dug it pretty quick.
I was a fan, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm trying to think now if I got. I don't think I was in a situation where I got a beach before I had sex. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Same.
Did you? Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Straight to
That's
it.
kind of weird, right?
I mean,
you think you'd work your way up.
I think most people get the beach first. Mm-hmm. And I think, did you get a hander before you?
I don't believe I got a hander to completion. I got a little action on a bus once. It was someone I knew, though, so
on a bus,
it wasn't like a stranger, and it was like a Greyhound bus.
Sure, and they were driving, right?
Yeah, they were driving, and I was like, dude, I don't have $250. I can't get on this bus. I have something else. I have a dick you can stroke, so I can move on to the bus.
John, you don't know it, but I just played the perfect soundbite. It was Chris Farley as the bus driver. Good, great, grand, wonderful. To Billy Madison.
Good. Oh, I'm sorry.
We got to find a way to get these sound bites into your ears over there. But anyway, these are all great questions.
But
yeah.
no, I didn't get a squeezer. I did grab a boob. Consensually. You say grab a boob, it kind of sounds like you're just out there, latching on. But it was the consensual deal.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, I get that too. I feel like, especially probably always, but especially early on, I feel like I was sexually polite to a fault to begin. Mm-hmm. You know, whereas like I don't want to. You know, I know what I'm into. It's all of this, but I don't want to intrude.
You do whatever you want to do, and I'll happily take it, madame.
Yes, exactly. So she says, three important first: sex, good sex, and see the apartment. And then so she goes into the apartment, and Livingston, pretty extreme studio situation. He can reach the sink from his bed. That's cool.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Because I'll say this, Chris, I was watching with my wife again. Mm-hmm. No, it's great. It's great. I love it. No, she said nice when Carrie walked in, like seconds before Carrie said nice. And I think the reason I know the reason Kristen said nice is because of like all the exposed brick. She loves exposed brick. Yeah.
People who like exposed brick mark the fuck out for it. There's no in between with it's basically don't care or people love it.
Right. It's nice, I guess. I did also notice that he had to like rest his picture frames on an end table because like he didn't want to, I guess, drill into the exposed brick or whatever to hang his pics.
Yeah. I thought it was a cool studio. It seemed small for he was like because a lot of this episode theme is talking about his ex a lot. It's people talking about their exes or the other relationship they're also currently in. And it seemed small for 2 full time, I would say. But I think it's a very cool one-person studio, though.
Mm-hmm. Especially, he seems like not poor. I mean, he can't afford a razor, I guess. He's perpetually got stubble on his face. But yeah.
Do you consider me stubbled or full beard?
Let me see your face again. Yeah, I'd say you have a full beard.
Okay, yeah.
You have a full beard. But he has stubble, though. He doesn't have a beard. You know it. Don't pretend like he does.
I'm sorry, I won't.
But he does casually mention later on that he does have a Pulitzer. And I would assume, I don't know how much money you get for a Pulitzer, but if you have a Pulitzer, I'd assume that you'd be able to afford a wall.
Okay, first of all, I would also assume that, but being someone who was on TV for 4 hours today and has my level of money, mm-hmm. I know how those kinds of perceptions don't always match up with the money you're getting. And that's not an exaggeration. I was on television for 4 hours today. I saw, so that's a good comparison. Also, at first I thought he was serious when he mentioned the Pulitzer, but then I thought he was joking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
All right.
TBD, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see.
Previously to be determined. PTBD.
Yeah, that's a good acronym.
Yeah, that's good. So anyway, yeah. So I mean, should we just kick off and run with Carrie, or how do you want to take us on the ride,
I
John?
just want to say super quick too. It's like, oh, he has a nice place or whatever. The fucking playing cards, which is a callback to something he did earlier, but the playing cards do look like a fucking either he's a serial killer or he's hunting a serial killer.
Very hunt a serial killer move. I mean, the American military and government did the playing card with, I like, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Like these are the ace of spades is Saddam or whatever that thing. But yeah, it's just like, oh, these are just like in the background. It's like on that cork board. All it was missing was the yarn, the red yarn connecting like the fucking things.
Totally. Big Hannibal energy, or
big Hannibal. And then she does spend the night at the place, and she's having he has a fucking noise machine going on, and it's the rainforest because he's a troubled sleeper. And then so it's just unusual.
A lot of frogs. It's a frog heavy rainforest sound thing, I would say, which and but then the big thing that comes up is that he says that his ex gave this to him too, which is she's disturbed by the frogs, but more bothered that he keeps talking about Lauren, his ex.
She made some other design choice, and she gave him the sound machine. There's a lot of like, oh, Lauren's still physically here, but it's not like, what are you gonna do? Throw out everything that she ever like touched or bought or had an influence on?
Yeah, and I don't want to get too much into like talking about all the themes before we talk about what's actually happening in the show, but I think that's like one of the big theme questions in it. So we'll come back around to that. But
I was just thinking, like, man, if I started dating someone now and they came and looked at how I lived, I mean, I'd assume they'd take a look at the sleep apnea machine and head for the fucking hills.
but it's also the sleep apnea machine is you're being responsible, you're taking care of the issues you have, and I think that, to me, John, I think that's sexy.
There's nothing sexier than a man taking care of his responsibilities.
Ladies,
there's nothing sexier than a man being too fat to breathe.
You're just big. You are a big boy, but I would never say fat.
I've got the respiratory system of a pug. So
yeah, but everyone fucking loves pugs, dude.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Just checks out. Yeah.
All right. So Oh, go ahead.
No, but you, when you got with your current wife, like, the apartment situation was such that you had many roommates, and I was one of them, and your bed was just on the floor. And I've seen a lot of one type of Twitter girl who's been cloned 100,000 times, basically tweeting about like boyfriends without a bed frame and stuff. And you still got it done.
But I had, it was sort of a lie because I did have clean sheets for that particular day, and that was a lie. That was misleading on my part. There were to be no clean sheets in the future.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this all leads to the purse party, Kevin. It's like sort of, there's a brunch later on too, but this is sort of like the launching off brunch where they plant the seeds for each story. And this purse party is brought to you by Jennifer Coolidge, who's great, who's absolutely wonderful in everything she's ever been in. Best in show, knocks it out of the park. I want a hot dog real bad. And,
I mean, that's the thing that comes up in all of our lives more than you'd think. I want a hot dog.
Unbelievable how often it comes up. I don't eat hot dogs that often, but Jesus. And then also most recently, Austin Land. I watched Austin Land, which starred the lady from The Americans,
Carrie Russell,
and it's about like a woman that goes to a Jane Austen themed amusement park, or like
I'm in. I'd watch that.
Or just like a all-in experience, less an amusement park. But anyway, Jennifer Coolidge is there too, as like an American, like wealthy trash person, and she's fucking amazing. Every line she has is great. Check it out if you can.
It's a great guest star. She's the only guest star I wrote down here, probably because she's the only one they had. But she's in it, and I wrote down that the purse party basically functions as the brunch, even though they kind of do a brunch later. But so they're all going to this, and you get to see some silly visuals. So that's that's a fun way to do it. and they're bopping around at this.
She tried to kill herself with 6 Advil on an empty stomach, or 6 aspirin or something, they said.
Yeah.
Which is kind
Dude,
of funny.
I've definitely taken 6 Advil at once because I take 3 Advil every time, and I just forgot I did it. So I don't think that should count as a suicide,
But it's
thing.
just like, another funny thing. Also, like, she makes these purses, which are like hilariously bad. It's very funny. They're gaudy and ugly, and good conversation pieces. They keep saying it's like a big purse party. I didn't know if they were going to go with in a direction where it's like big purse equals big vagina, but it ends up they did not go that direction.
I like that you say that. Like, we were all thinking, is a big purse? I couldn't help but wonder, is a big purse a big vagina? And they chose not to. Maybe that was cut out. Maybe that.
They went another direction. They're going to save that for later, another season, perhaps.
Yeah.
6C. The much rumored 6C.
Yes. And I think while they're bopping around at this purse party, Miranda makes some mention that the only one who should pay for a bad relationship is the next person you're with, which was an interesting take.
Who else would pay for it? Who else would pay?
Yeah. Okay. You had Team Miranda over here. But it's like funny to think like the only one who should pay is the next person. It's like, no, the person who did it should pay. Then Samantha, this is notable because I've talked a lot about how Carrie Bradshaw is not only not funny, but bad at it. Like bad, actively negative funny score. Funny below replacement value, which is a reference that very few of our listeners will get. But
what's Carrie's whip?
Carrie's whip. Yeah. And for pitchers, that's walks plus hits per innings pitch. I'll have to think on what that would be for Carrie. But she said something that made me laugh. Samantha sees the waiter, and he's working a cater job here, but she knows him from the weird organic restaurant or whatever it was that they were at before, and she's like, I fucked that guy, and Carrie goes, oh, him, and then is like gives a face that's like that narrows it down. You know what I mean? I was like, there we go. That was a little more understated than you typically get from Carrie, who usually gives you a full fucking 3-sentence waka dad joke on stuff. So, yeah.
I'm glad you found the slut shaming funny, Kevin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was a lot of a good sort of back and forths at the party. I didn't write down a bunch. I did write down Jennifer Coolidge thing where she was like, I didn't get it exactly, but it was like, who needs a 38-year-old balding guy with erectile dysfunction? And I was like, damn, it's a good thing I'm 37.
I know. Wait, when does this episode air? I might be. Hold on, John. I'm going to figure this out in real time because we are recording this I would say, John, is today the worst America's ever been in our lifetimes? Would you say? It's close, right?
There were some of those Iraq War days, though.
They weren't good. Yeah,
they weren't. They weren't great for Iraq, but I mean.
Okay, so John, as of this episode, this is my first episode where I am 38 years old.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday!
Thank you. It's weird because who knows, this could be posthumous podcast at this point, but
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Rest in power.
But yeah, I wrote down the same thing. Like just like better than being with a balding 38-year-old with ED. And I was like, ooh, it's pretty close to home. I take pills for my hair. The other thing's fine. But I've been taking Propecia for like 10 plus years because I'm very paranoid about going bald. So yeah.
It's crazy. You got a luscious head of hair. Nothing to worry about.
Thank you.
Then also at this portrait, I mean, the big thing that happens is everyone buys a bunch of purses. Not just kidding. Samantha bangs the waiter again.
Mm-hmm.
The waiter from Raw, if you recall.
Yep. And, that's right. Yeah, that was the name of the restaurant. And they're fucking in a weird place where honestly, don't ruin people's parties by fucking, but they should have gotten away with it. This was
This
there's
is discreet enough.
I think so. Also, it's one of those things where Samantha's getting fucked up against a bunch of crates, and it's one of those things where on paper you think maybe this is hot, but you're not enjoying this, right? Or you're enjoying it somewhat, but it's not. This isn't full on good sex.
You're really tempting fate because it's one of those things that carries around at a school cafeteria or any kind of cafeteria or at a dinner party. It's carrying a bunch of glasses, drinking glasses. So this thing could topple over at any second, and then it's gonna be very painful. Also, it's making like a racket. And also, like, this is Jennifer Coolidge's house, so presumably there are bedrooms somewhere with doors that lock.
Yeah, and it's big, so it seems like you could find a place.
They could have done better, but they didn't. And Jennifer Coolidge is very upset because this is her big purse party. Damn it, you're fired. I don't need this mental strain. At first, I wasn't clear who she was firing, whether like Sam was brought on to do PR for these wonderful purses, but I guess she's firing the waiter, which I'm not sure that's her call to make necessarily.
Right. I thought there was a chance Sam would be like, me? You know, that it seemed like there could be a joke played off the confusion over who's fired there. Yeah, and then she goes.
Finish? By the way, do they go back to it after Jennifer Coolidge leaves?
I think we're to assume they didn't, but if look,
he didn't withdraw. He didn't they didn't try to even cover it. Right. No token effort.
No. I think at that point you finish. If you can. If you're both up for it.
Well, I lost my job. I might as well get something out of this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my advice. So yeah, and then
if you're fucking someone right now while listening to this podcast,
oh my God.
Just finish.
If anyone has had sex during our podcast, please DM us. Let us know. We won't blow you up, but we'll read your message, but we won't read your your name unless you want us to.
All right, everyone not having sex, just fast forward 2 seconds. All right, everyone who's having sex right now, you're doing a great job. You're doing great. Hang in there, baby. Yep. And yes.
I like that your presumably orgasm play-by-play call it's like a friendlier Marv Albert. That's
me.
It's not a bad
good brand
description of John Lee Valentine Daly. All right, so we are beyond the purse party here. She just goes upstairs and rages, and they cut away from it. I would like to see the extended scene on that. But
she's
they do that.
Improver, you know.
Yes. Oh, she's great. As we said, big fans of Coolidge. Big fans of so many of the guest stars. This show's a really good guest star show.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So who do we want to? Do we break into the characters now, John? Character by character breakdown.
I feel like Sam's pretty straightforward here, and it kind of plays off the end of this party.
Yeah.
By way of sort of apologizing to the young man who lost her job. He made the decision to bang while he was at work, so it's not really like Sam lost the job for him.
Yes, this is not more on her than it is on him.
Right. And at first, it's like, oh, this is just like a conciliatory, like, we're gonna bang. Like, of course, we're gonna continue to bang because why not? And I'm gonna come out here like a waiter or a waitress, a waitstaff. I'm dressed in a sexy apron. I'm bringing Cool Whip or whatever.
Oh, when she's making it up to him, yeah. When she comes out as like basically a French maid is what she looks like, and then and has
right.
Yeah.
And then she puts the whipped cream on him. I don't know about you, dude, but whipped cream for me has never been like a thing that actually helps anything, I guess, for me.
Sexually?
No, dude, on Sundays too.
Well, John, for me, it doesn't help on Sundays. I don't like whipped cream, which is part of why it also doesn't work sex-wise for me. Now, that's just for me to consume. But if, put whipped cream on me, I don't care. But
yeah. Wait, so, okay, has it been introduced into love play for you?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it love play.
Sure, fuck play.
Yeah. But I think I'm trying to think, and like certainly not for a very long time. But
Okay.
yeah,
And and you wouldn't be the consumer, you would be the consumed, I
yeah,
guess.
yes.
Right.
It
I just
was
think it's like
Varsity Blues had just come out, you know.
right,
Yeah,
sure, of course. Yeah, it's just I think it's the thing where I don't know, maybe there's a lot of people out there that find it super sexy, but it's just like, oh, you're eating something off of me. That's that's fun, I
I think. Well, I think we've
guess.
talked about before that like food in bed. It's not. My thought is typically don't.
Hmm.
You know. Anyway,
It's a it's just it's dirty. It's could
yeah,
cause a dirty protest
yeah.
here. Um yeah, anyway, that's so anyway, she's doing that and it's kind of sexy. She does get it on his tidy whities, which is like ugh, it's even worse. Just don't get it on the clothes. If you're gonna do it, do it on the body. Don't she's really spraying it all over the place.
Yeah.
And does she he's is this when he's like oh no, you go.
Well, yeah. So she's being fun about it, and she's like, oh, I
Oh
fuck
wait,
things
I
up.
skipped to the end. I'm so sorry. This was the second lovemaking scene, isn't it?
Well, but with Sam and the waiter.
Yeah. Because at first they bang and then she offers him money, right?
And okay, yeah, and then the next time she's the waitress. Is that
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, and basically yes. So
I'm
they
so
hook up.
sorry.
It's all right. This is fine. We're actually being pretty efficient this time, so this is not a problem.
Okay.
So he says basically they hook up after he gets fired, and she's like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I looked up how much a good catering shift pays, $300. Which, by the way, like that's what I mean. I've been paid $300 to like headline a one-off weekday bar show, so it's like that's pretty good for catering, I think.
It's in
Um,
2003. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jesus, yeah. That's very good. That's more than I would have been making, like doing weekday headline stuff. So she goes to give him $300 after sex, and he says, "Lady, are you fucking out of your mind?" And then just like leaves the money and walks away. And he's not like he doesn't make a deal out of it really. He's just like, "Get the fuck out of here with this." And then
Right.
he's not like, "Don't call me." He's just like, "Come on."
Well, I'm surprised, in a spoiler alert, because I fucked everything up timeline wise. But like, he comes back. I would have assumed that this. I mean, there would have been like a intermediary scene
Yeah.
where she has to like call and apologize or do something besides just like, all right, I'm back for sex again. Like,
Right.
it's offensive to be like, oh, I'm not a prostitute, which is like, oh shit, I can't believe you think I'm a prostitute. See you next week.
Yes, I do think that's a little surprising. But then they do just get together, and and it is a very funny scene. Well, they do like the sexy stuff, but with the whipped cream, she busts out the whipped cream, and she has her basically French maid outfit on, and she's being like, "I'm going to serve you, and the customer always comes first." And then she calls him Mr. Waiter, and he's like, "You don't know my name." And they've been together several times at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And then, do you remember what's her guess? Paul? What does she say?
I think she said Paul.
And then yeah.
Yeah.
And he says Jerry, which is also very surprising.
Yeah. And then later they're like, it's her first Jerry or something like that because he's a young man. He's not like a cartoon cat or anything.
No, Jerry's
or
one of those
mouse.
names like you ever meet a baby named Fred? It's just like it's weird. So she's yeah, and it's Jerry, and then that's one of the questions I wrote down. John, you ever fucked a Jerry?
I fucked a Wally, but
Okay, there we go. That's close enough. And then he says, actually, I know we're kidding around about the waiter stuff, but I'm actually not just a waiter. I'm also an actor. And she goes, there goes my heart on, which is funny.
Mm-hmm.
She's being like, quote unquote, the man in a lot of
right.
her scenes anyway. So the heart on thing is funny.
It's just a weird thing to say to the guy that just said it. I mean, you might as well just like dunk his head in the fucking toilet. Like, hey,
bet
I'm
she's
also
done
an actor. Like, and fuck, you suck now, dude. I
right.
don't.
You
What?
work in PR, you fucking loser. Your job is to like tell people about me. Like you don't.
Yeah.
You're not. You know. Yeah. Fuck
I
off
used to
with
hold
that
you in
judgment.
high respect because you were a waiter. You
Yeah.
gave people nourishment.
Mm-hmm. John, I've had both of these jobs. I think they're both very fuckකable.
Yeah.
I
Oh, absolutely. But it's not like, man, actors, they're so unfuckable, right?
Yeah. By the way, an independent movie I was in 10 years ago just went on Amazon Prime. Check out Virgin Alexander. I do get a hand job in that movie from the guy who played Belky Bartakamus,
man.
Bronson Pinchot. There we go. That's it. I mean, if that doesn't get that movie's views up, I don't know what will.
It's got my views up. And by
Yeah.
views, I mean the glands on my penis.
John, what job would kill your boner if a lady told you her job? Or do you feel like your job has ever killed a lady's boner?
RNC chairwoman, I guess.
I think maybe we have the same one. Yeah. Yeah.
What would
Honestly, that was like my first thought was like I'm actually a Republican senator. It was like, okay, yeah, I can't do this.
Yeah. What job have I had a job that was honestly, I talked about how I used to work I was a sandwich artist, and when you work at Subway, I don't know if it's still this way now, but if you stay in a Subway for 8 hours and you leave Subway, you smell like bread. You smell like, and not in a good way. You smell like funky ass bread.
Like every single day.
Like every single day. And then if you go straight from work to your GFs, you gonna smell funky. You gotta smell funky, and that funk, and it's like a Subway train funk where if you get next to someone, they're like, holy shit, am I gonna smell like this guy if I'm around him too long? That sort of deal.
That's pretty good. Man, I wish I never got a sandwich from you at a Subway. Too bad.
I can make you a sandwich if you want to replicate the experience.
I think I'm good, but yeah. It's weird because I don't know. I feel like comedian is my most...
no one's ever, you never told anyone comedian and they haven't been like
Well, it's been technically it's like I haven't had a girlfriend since I was a comedian. It's like
sure. Jamie hasn't been like, oh, you're a comedian, huh?
Right. Yeah, I mean, to me it seems like comedian wouldn't be the most lady boner inducing job, but it's also like I do think I am maybe, not to toot my own horn, but I'm also probably not what most people think when they think comedian. So I think there's a little bit of that. But I wouldn't recommend dating me because, like, A, I'm married, and B, there's the money's very unstable, and it's emotionally weird. So yeah.
But at least you're away from the house 100 days out of the year.
Yeah, exactly. I'm out of town 100 days a year, if you think that's hot. So that's cool. All right. So I think that's it for Samantha as far as what I got, unless you got anything else.
Do you think this guy's going to stick around, Kevin? Like,
I
get the impression he's going to be around for a little bit, which
I
is
do.
weird. It doesn't seem like they connect on any level besides sex.
Yeah, but I think he showed, even with the, like, he's not taking the money, but he's still hanging around. He, like, doesn't need her, but also isn't taking her shit. The combination of those things, he's not like he's letting her do what she wants, but he's also not like a full beta in this situation. You know what I mean? So I think that, yeah, I think this guy's got something. I feel a little bit about him like I felt about when Harry joined, where I was like, they're just, I don't know if it's just the actor doing a good job. I mean, I'm sure in combination with the writing, but also I was just like, this feels different. I don't know.
Also, I mean, that's a great transition, which I'm going to introduce a counter transition and keep talking about the thing we have been talking about, just to say this is another situation where it's like, dude, if someone offered me $300 after I had sex with them, I'd be like, okay, thanks.
Yeah. 300. If feeling worth $300. I mean, that's not bad. Fucking
It's not
however
bad.
long. Yeah.
I'll take whatever. I mean, I know I'm not a prostitute. It's just money, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Should we do? So you said Charlotte. Should we do Charlotte next?
Did I say Charlotte? You said Charlotte.
I
You
said
tried
Charlotte.
to transition to Charlotte,
Mm,
you monster. All right, let's
sure.
just do Charlotte. We're talking about her. She dropped her first oi.
She did drop her first oi.
Congratulations, it's an oi.
Some people want to know if it's an oi or a they before they go into the room, but she waited for it to be a surprise. So she is basically finishing her conversion to, or not finishing, but she's along the line.
This happened so fucking fast.
This
happened. I thought this was going to be the whole goddamn season.
She's in a classroom, the Learn to Be Jewish classroom, and I just wrote down hot group of Jews here. This is a hot group of lady Jews, all ladies too.
Well, they're Christians still at that point.
I guess that's true. John, when you were, because we were both raised Catholic, you ever in church and look around and just be like, God damn, the women here can get it. You ever feel like that growing up?
Well, I'll tell you what, when you're a 12-year-old young man, 13 years old, 14 years old, you don't have to be that hot, I don't think.
Everyone can get it. Yeah.
Everyone can get it. So yeah, I wouldn't say not a ton. There's a couple. The law of averages, there were a couple. And
I do think I happened to have a hot town, so maybe that affected things. But I remember being like, when I was in church, just being like, this seems like an aggressive test. It feels like everyone here is hot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But again, I think that might be adolescence. It'd be interesting to like go back to church now and see which high school age girls you'd want to bone, Kevin.
John, I'm not falling for this trap again. So Charlotte has decided that she's going so Jewish that she is fully leaving Christmas behind. And originally, the like rabbi or whatever tells her that she has to do that. Harry says you don't have to leave Christmas behind because he comes home and she's playing Christmas music with the Christmas tree up. He's like, no, we can have a tree like all the Jews. You don't have to do this, which A, I'm on Harry's side, but B, Harry is bullshit because he made it mandatory that you do this conversion that you didn't believe in to begin with. Right. So fuck you with being like, it's not that big a deal. You made it the biggest deal. You don't get to be the cool Jew now.
Yeah. You don't get to countermand the fucking rabbi that you forced your wife to go see.
Yes, exactly.
Like, sure. First of all, I wrote down teacher schmuck because I didn't know what the Yiddish for pet was, but
that would have gotten a big laugh out loud, but I was trying to swallow my gin and tonic. Teacher schmuck is so good.
She's raising her hand during class. She knows all the answers. Of course she does. She's great. She's doing the homework. She's doing the hard work. And then, he's like, you got to drop Christmas. So she has one last go around with her Christmas tree before she leaves it, which is great. I think it's a wonderful like part of the story. It is weird that they're not engaged, right?
Yeah, you should be
all this for her boyfriend.
You should be engaged before you convert religions. I also think I'm not telling you not to convert religions, but I'm saying you to the world in general shouldn't have to convert religions. In my book, what do I know? Mm-hmm. Fucking nothing. Look, I got a lot. Look, those are my shirts in the closet. What do I know?
No, this guy uses hangers. What does he know?
But it is quite a commitment for dating a couple of months,
right?
For sure.
But I think it's like a thing about the plot where like, normally in the normal sequence of events, yes, you would get engaged. And I say this as someone that's never been married, someone of a different religion, but you'd get engaged and then go through the rigmarole but they couldn't do that because it's so unfathomable for Harry to have proposed marriage to a non-Jew, right?
I guess. Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah. I think you're right.
It's just like weird. It's like a weird pretzel logic thing where they have to twist themselves to have it make sense, and it still doesn't make sense exactly. And then they go on about this blue ornament on this Christmas tree, which is like, I mean, obviously blue is like the Christmas color for people of the Jewish faith. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
not Christmas color, but Hanukkah color or
It'd be funny
wintertime
if it was
color.
Yeah, blue is blue's got the Jews like blue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Star of
It's
David. Come
the
on,
rhyming
it's a
color.
classic. Yeah, uh,
Classic.
yeah, exactly. And it makes me really the last Christmas shit is really sad to me. It bums me the
Mhm.
fuck out. And the ornament with the story behind it, and I guess that's the nice Harry moment here is Harry being like, "We're keeping the ornament." It's like, "Oh, thanks. You only made her change literally everything else." But yeah,
But like Charlotte can do like, I mean, it's like I don't know if my fucking moral set is different than everyone else's. Where it's like, yeah, I'll take $300 after banging someone. If you just want to give me $300, I'll take it.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell the fucking rabbi that I gave up Christmas. Promote me to Jewish, please. And then just go back to having Christmas. Like, what they can't. I mean, maybe they can. I don't know what the rules are, but they can't strip you of your Judaism.
Look, I don't. I like. So I'm a stand-up comedian in New York City. Believe it or not, I have kind of a lot of Jewish friends, and they. I don't know one who doesn't think Christmas is better, like as just like a party, as a hang, you know. And my thing is, I think what everyone should do is just take all the parts you like from all the things and do them.
Right.
Fucking YOLO, you know, like we're here once, let's just do the things that are good. Let's brainstorm, let's use all the shit, do the fun shit from Hanukkah, the fun shit from Christmas, everything else, like you know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And you can't do Rudolph. Rudolph's non-denominational. You can do.
Oh yeah, Rudolph's not canon, Christian in a Christian way for sure. And then eventually she does it. So yeah, she's very good in the class, and then at the end she shows some butt going into a Jewish pool. Baptism,
The
big thing for everyone.
sexiest, probably the sexiest conversion method I can think of. A totally nude bath.
I wrote more hot Jewish stuff, huh? That's what I wrote in my notes. This is pretty hot.
Very sexy religion. It's man, maybe this was sponsored by Judaism.
Yep.
To try to like put it out there. We're sexy. She took 75 accelerated classes, Kevin.
I didn't catch the number. I mean, that is very Charlotte, like her locking the fuck in on something, you know.
Even if she did one a day every day, that's 3 months. 3 months since she met this guy. If she started Judaism class day one, which she didn't.
But how long's a class? Did she do more than one a day? You know,
yeah. Is she doing 2 days for Judaism? Is she doing like Friday Night Lights?
I think she is, honestly, because here's the other thing.
What else is she doing? Yeah.
Yes. She just made $1 million for being married for a couple of months, and she wasn't working anyway. So I think she's got the time.
You got to say, Dune is helping the chosen people here.
Yeah,
he's financing Charlotte's conversion.
He is, and you know, so Dune still a force of good ultimately. All right, Miranda time. Let's Miranda and close with Carrie.
Great, Miranda.
So basically, Steve was late to get the baby. Is I think more or less how Miranda stuff kicks off, and he shows up and he says, you know, I would do to Debbie. I think was that the name. My handwriting's terrible.
I didn't. Yeah, Debbie.
Whatever. He's dating someone.
I guess she's not made up apparently, which is sad.
You were hoping he was fabricating to make her jelly?
Yeah, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see these two crazy kids get together.
I know. You want each other, you deserve it. Come on.
I just hope it's not like a thing where they get together at the last episode and then like you want to see him, I don't know. I want to see him like actually have a relationship for a while. And they did for a little bit. And then they all of a sudden they just have like a bad episode and they break up. But like the business of being a couple, they don't really get into.
And I think that writing an interesting couple that does love each other week to week, keeping it good, I think that is a difficult thing that obviously very few TV shows have done. I can think of two off the top of my head, and one is full on canceled because the guy is a big time rapist. So The Cosby Show.
You're talking about House of Cards. Oh.
Yeah. But Friday Night Lights did that extremely well, where it's a married couple week to week together, and it's interesting. And I think this, yeah, I do. But what I do appreciate about the Miranda Steve storyline is it's messy and it's a non-traditional but still working story. But I am with you. I hope they full on get all the way together before the last episode. I agree with that. I think it's been interesting and well told to this point. So now we know that Miranda's jealous that Steve is seeing other people because she decided she was in love with
testy.
him. And, yeah, and then she finds a lot of condoms in the baby bag, right?
It is, yeah. They share a baby bag, which is a baby, yeah, the diaper bag. Which Chris, I was like, why not just have your own diaper bag? Why? I mean,
I got to defer to you on this one.
I don't know if it's well. I haven't. Luckily, Kristen hasn't left me yet, so I haven't had to like split my child with anyone. But I would just keep my own diaper bag, and then have someone else keep their own diaper bag.
Yeah, but even that I wouldn't know. I don't know what a diaper bag is.
It's just like you keep your diapers in there, but you keep your A&D ointment, you keep the toys, you keep the bottles. So like it's just what you carry around to keep. Like if you're going to the store or a restaurant or whatever, you will need to. Anything that your child needs is going to be in this bag temporarily.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Including condoms. Your kid's not into making love. Your kid wants to fuck.
Yeah, your kid's into having sex, not into making love, like me and 50 Cent, as you said on a previous episode. And I think Miranda, it's very funny. She reveals the condoms to Steve after she finds them. There's also a scene where the baby, which by the way, this is not the previous baby. Brady has been many different children at this point. This baby's head is big. This baby has a fat head, and I say that not in derision. I'm not, this is, I have a fat head. I have a fat potato head, and this baby also does. So welcome to the club, my friend. But
takes one to know one. Now, you do know that babies change as they do actually get bigger as time progresses.
John, did you think I thought the only way it would be the same baby is if it remained the same size?
I don't know, Kevin. I don't know. So far, you said this baby's head's bigger. What other proof do you have?
Yeah, I think if we can, Mr. Meme, Mr.
Pull up this baby's IMDb.
You can, I think if we split screen this with the previous baby, who your mother-in-law / roommate, kind of roommate, Aunt Mary, she said ugly kid about previous Brady. This is a new Brady. I'd be curious to get her take on new Brady. Anyway, this kid
probably ugly kid still. Ugly kid. Ugly big head.
God, Mary just dragging all the babies. So I thought it was a funny line that Miranda had when she reveals all the condoms and Steve says something and she's like, well, I'm not thrilled our baby's having sex, but I'm happy he's being careful,
Yeah, that was good. And Sam had one during second brunch, which is first brunch after the first party, where it was like, because I think the baby starts chewing on them. I kind of missed it, but Sam said, don't worry, I've had plenty of those in my mouth before.
John, here's a question. So good. Have you ever been blown while wearing a condom?
No, absolutely not.
Me neither.
No. I mean, it's probably the right thing to do, but I don't know.
Yeah, but it just doesn't happen, I don't think.
It happened, I think I saw a movie once where...
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Right. Did that movie also have a dental dam?
Come on,
John. This brings us to a hilarious scene that is the clip of the week. So you stay quiet and just look away from your microphone for a minute here, and I will play the clip of the week. I'll tell you when it's over. And Brady just fell off the couch.
Dude, that shit happens. It's easy. I'll just say that.
Oh, yeah.
It ain't impossible.
Oh, yeah. No, what I thought was interesting about that scene was not the fact that Brady fell off the couch, just just Miranda yelling, "Your penis in a woman's vagina," and then clearly getting mad about other stuff and deciding to punish Steve about something she could theoretically justifiably get mad about, but is not what she's actually mad about, right? She's mad.
Yeah, I guess.
She's mad that he's with another woman. That's what's got her angry.
Right.
It's not that he was late once.
Right. And she shouldn't be mad about that. And being late once, like, I mean, things exist that are beyond his control. So, he can be late. I'm sure she's been late in her life too. But like the condoms in the bag, that's like, that's less than even being late. It's nothing. Like, there's no way she should be mad about this.
It just doesn't have an actual effect on anything.
Right. I mean, it's just like if you were roommates, like if you're a roommate and like, oh, I left my condoms on the couch. Like, well, this is unpleasant to think about and kind of gross. I'd rather you didn't do it. But like in the end, nothing's really different or changed or anything where it's like we're roommates of this bag for some crazy reason. Why not just have your own bags so you don't have to swap the bags? I guess like, oh, I'm buying duplicate diapers, but you go through the diapers so fucking fast it doesn't matter. And the toys, like, yeah, you're gonna have so many toys, you'll be wishing to have a fucking bag for them.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, fucking. But it's just like, just date already. Just date. Tell them how you feel.
That's a real Steve. Just date me already.
It's like in all these sitcoms like Frasier where it's like Niles and Daphne or whatever, where it's like, Niles, just tell her, God.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, they haven't been doing it for that long in this show, but.
Right. But when it gets to the point, and this must be difficult from a writing perspective when you're like, there actually is not a problem here. There's actually nothing keeping you from dating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're not even humanizing Debbie or whatever by having her show up so we can like see how good she is or bad she is or anything. Like, it's just some figment that just exists off screen. So like if he dumps her, there's no weight behind it.
Right. Steve, also great quote. Come on, it's just condoms. All right. So let's go to Carrie now.
They're just anal beads.
Let's close with Carrie.
I put them in the dishwasher.
So
right,
she's
Carrie.
she's with this troubled sleeper, right? And they're and
that's what he is, Jack Beef, troubled sleeper.
That's how it begins. John, do you have a thing? If you have trouble sleeping, do you have a move you go to? Do you have a thing you put on? Do you?
I'll put on. You know what? I have a couple things. I put on my, of course, my Magic the Gathering videos that are.
Oh yeah, on YouTube.
They put me to sleep. Yeah, I did. So that's one thing, and another thing is wrestling podcasts are big, because those are nice because there's no video element to it; it's just sound, and you just put it on the sleep timer on the podcast, 10 minutes, and then before the 10 minutes are up, you're listening to Eric Bischoff talk about the 1990s and WCW. And then you're off to dreamland, my friend.
It's the sweet spot of something you care enough about so you enjoy it, but you do not care if you miss the next minute.
Exactly.
And that's a really tough sweet spot, and that's why I went to bed with SportsCenter on for like most of my adult life, you know. I used to, growing up, I went to sleep during Conan at some point. Basically, after Act 1 or 2 of Conan is usually when I would fall asleep growing up. And then once
before the interviews, right?
Yeah, usually before. Yeah, you would get through monologue, Act 1, the first remote or whatever, and then I'd fall asleep. But but then once you're doing comedy for a living, I think that's more or less when I switched over to just sports at night, which is something I love, but also can fall asleep at any time and not be sweating, you know? And I'm terrible at falling asleep. I'm up late every night since forever. I'm not good at it. But when I've been on like red eyes on a plane, the way I go to sleep is I do rain sounds on Spotify, throw it in my ears, try to do that. Rain sounds is good for me. I like rain. I kind of prefer it when it's rainy a little bit, which I remember I said in high school during a journalism class, and everyone was freaked out. Me and my friend Dave Miller were both like, we don't like the sun, and people couldn't understand it. They thought we were fucking serial killers.
Kristen and I will throw on a thunderstorms when we're making passionate love.
Wow. Okay. Fucking to the thunder. Zeus's sex party. You got the invite. That's pretty fun.
Yeah. That's I like that.
So John, do you bring the thunder in the bedroom? Is that
it's nice because I just have to time it to whenever the crashes happen. That's when I only thrust when the lightning hits.
Oh, man.
So I know how to save my energy. Could you imagine if you were single and you brought someone over and you're like, oh, okay, thanks for sleeping over. I'm just going to put on Sports Center right now. I need this to sleep. Like, I'm saying Jack Beef, save the sound machine for the third time she's over or something. Like, so ease her in.
He's gone to sleep at her place, right? Several times.
Yes. Well, he was drunk one of them. The one time I remember that he passed out.
John, I've never gone to sleep without being drunk. That's not.
But he passed out, I guess, is how that happened.
So, I guess. Yeah.
But
the real issue that comes up is that he's talking about his ex all the time. And I want to ask you, have you ever had an issue with someone you were dating with how they talked about their exes, either how frequently or how they talked about them?
Oh, dude. you know. This is a loaded question.
You can answer as much of it as you want.
No, I had a girlfriend, that was still friends with her ex. I must have spoken on this before, but she was friends with her ex still, and it was like whenever she was from your hometown.
She was.
And so whenever she would go home, it would be like, and he was still like we were in college. So like you go home for the holidays, go home for spring break, go home for whatever. That's what people like me do. We go home for spring break.
That's hot.
But whenever she went home, it'd be like, well, I'm going to hang out with this guy because he's sort of my best friend or whatever. And it's like, this sucks because it's like you guys are just like, it's like 90% of the relationship except for the sex stuff or whatever, you know what I mean?
Right.
Where it's
and
like
then
you guys are just like, oh, we're hanging out and being good friends and like emotionally there for each other. And it's like, you guys are really just going on and on about this, huh?
Right. And then acting like it's not a big deal, where it's weird because the scenario you dealt with, I think if the genders were flipped, everyone would tell her, don't trust that motherfucker. You know what I mean? Ooh, John just froze with a very suspicious face, so that's kind of fun. I'll wait for him to come back. Hopefully, it's in a couple of seconds.
Is it still recording me?
Yes.
Hey,
okay.
there you are.
There we go. What I was saying was, what I think is interesting about your scenario is that if the genders were flipped, I think everyone would have been like, don't trust that guy, going to just hang out with his ex-girlfriend. Don't trust him. Of course, that's not all he's doing, you know?
Yeah, and if that dude had a girlfriend after this one, the one that I started dating, then they probably would have been suspicious, but I don't think he did.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, what can you do? I mean, in hindsight now, it's like, was I being jealous? Was I in my own head about it? But at the time, it was very real and very like distressing. And
I think being a little jealous is right, though. I think you even want your person to be a little jealous, you know? Yeah. I do think there's a thing here where Berger he's pissed at his ex, and the big thing is, eventually he keeps bringing her up. She designed the place, she got him this sleep machine, and then she pops up on the answering machine, which is difficult. It sucks when like that if like that.
Such a plot thing from the 90s and into the 2000s, I guess. But I thought we were done with answering machines by the
right. But what it would be now would be like she'd be showing, like it would be on the phone and the name would pop up on like a Twitter, on like either a text notification or Instagram or Twitter notification, you know, like the other woman's name would pop up or whatever.
Yeah.
So she drops in, and then he, like, some real pathetic weirdo fucking flips off the machine and then leaves.
It almost seemed like a show at first, where it was like, I thought the me misthinking how this episode was going to go, part 2. I thought this was going to go where like, oh, I was just putting on a show because I thought me being friends with my ex would have been weird to you. Right? Just like you were saying, like, oh, I'm still friends with, like, Lauren and I still talk all the time. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But I wanted you to think that I hated her because that's how guys and exes are supposed to act or whatever.
Yeah.
But before that happened, I think, Kevin, Carrie gets a call from your boy, Mr. Big, right?
Yeah. Let me close one thing with the other thing before we get on to Carrie's deal, where he does, I think, like you said, where he puts on, even though they're not still friendly, he puts on a big show about being angry at the answering machine or her. I think there's a thing people do where they talk about their exes like they're terrible, where they'll be like, this idiot or this loser. And to me, that doesn't make the person you're talking to think that person is less significant to you, you know, like that just makes it seem like, oh, they're still in your head, kind of like any degree of intensity in terms of how you feel about them it shows how much they're still with you. Do you know what I mean?
That's true. That's true.
Because I don't think I've ever described an ex like that, like this bitch, this whatever, you know, like, or whatever, this piece of shit. It's like I because they're not still a thing in my life, I guess. But if people are like, oh, this loser, let me tell you about how bad this one was, I'm like, I feel like what you think is but they're still in your head though, you know.
Yeah, Kristen's got a few exes, not a whole lot, just really, I think, a couple, but unless she's been lying to me this whole time. No, but she's got a couple, and like, you know, some of their old stuff pops up from, you know, you cleaning up, oh, this thing from that person or whatever, and she no-sells it, and it's like, it really seems like she had no relationship with these people at all. And that's almost like the other way, where it's like, this guy meant that little to you, or are you like playing it down so hard that you like, are you manipulating me right now?
Yeah, I'll fucking win. I'm gonna win this game somehow.
But like, you can't, like, how non-existent could this relationship have been? I don't know.
Right. Yeah. No, I get that too. But
no, she's an expert player at mind games, and you have to constantly be on alert.
John, I think what we've learned is there's many different ways to be paranoid. So that's cool. But yes, you're right. So Carrie, she's with Jack Beef right now, but she gets a call from our old buddy, Mr. Big.
Right. And this is, so she gets it before even this shit with the machine goes down, I think. But like, she Big calls and she answers. I think she's at her house. God, I hope so. Because the way that was cut together, I don't think we see her going back to her house, but she's got her eye mask, so I assume she is.
And I want to say it seems to me a big Breakfast at Tiffany's Audrey Hepburn shout out. The fancy eye mask with the straight hair exactly like that is very Audrey Hepburn with a cat in Breakfast at Tiffany's. So I'll just
got that. As another straight guy, I totally caught that reference.
Hey man, am I a straight guy who had girlfriends who were into Audrey Hepburn? I sure was.
Dude, if you're watching I only watch Breakfast at Tiffany for Mickey Rooney's parts.
Yeah, for just fake, extremely white Asian dudes with gigantic imported teeth.
It's impossible to even try to imitate what he did without
Can't do
the
it.
ACLU kicking
Let's not
down
get
the door.
canceled on top of everything else.
Everything else, the world needs us right now.
I know.
The world needs to laugh, damn it.
So, yeah, so let's do it. So they
All
have
right.
phone sex, correct?
Well, to hear Carrie tell it to all her friends, she listens while Big has phone sex at her, which is not traditionally how I think phone sex works.
No, and she no sells the phone sex for sure. She's like, no, it's not a big deal. He just like calls me and whatever he starts it. Which on one hand I feel like is her being disingenuous, right?
Oh, this is absolute bullshit. I just wrote bullshit in all caps.
Great. And I think that's a very fair take on it. The other thing is, we've talked about Carrie is not good at sex. She's not bringing a lot in the bedroom to start with. So I would not be surprised if in phone sex she just goes, and then what? And and that's her whole deal. You know what I mean?
It's yes and Carrie. Yes and the phone sex.
No, Carrie's not even yes and. She's not even yes but. She's just okay ... That's how she has phone sex, I think.
Damn it, Carrie. Yeah,
you're probably right. She's probably just lying. But I'm saying these are the two options.
No. Oh yeah. No. For sure. And just when Sam offered the money to the guy, it's just like, yeah, he's gonna get pissed because he was offered money for sex or whatever. And as soon as she calls, it's like, dude, this is cheating, Carrie. Like, this is very and she tries to play it like, oh, we're not officially a thing. I don't know. And I've said before, I got that happened to me where I was like, oh, we're not officially a thing. And it's like, well, it was more
you were
official.
like a fucking teenager though.
Yeah, so, I know exactly. But it's like, Carrie, what games are you playing right now where it's like, do you like this guy? Like, you're having good sex at this point with him. You've seen his place. He's not a killer. He has minor squabbles with his ex, and that's why you're going to be like, well, I can have phone sex with Big. And it's like, oh, she tries to hide behind like, oh, he called me. And there was no polite way to get out of it. It's like, it's a fucking phone, dude. You could hang up.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's also, I mean, I think she's, as much as she's no selling it, she's also being like, she's not saying she didn't enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like, she's like, oh, we had phone sex. So that was, that was unexpected. But it didn't seem like she hated it. Yeah.
This is like a rare case where I think her friends are giving her good advice. I feel like I don't feel like that a lot of times, but they're trying to be like, don't bring this baggage into this new relationship. And she's like, it's not baggage, it's biggage, which is I like that line, but it is classic Carrie bullshit.
Yes.
It's so like, are you trying to sabotage yourself? Like, is this actively trying to like not have something nice?
Well,
like, are you trying to fuck it up?
And in relation to the three important firsts she mentioned before, she's like, another first, the first time when you think this might be something, like this might really be something real,
That wasn't one of the three, was it? It was first sex, first good sex, and then apartment.
Correct. But then she said another first later in the show, much later in the show. So this is, which was after what we're talking about. And then when she and Livingston were in bed together. So this is after that first, all the big phone sex on the talk with the friends, when he says, she wants to get lunch with me. She basically wants to get lunch for closure. She thinks it's important to move on, and she says, and Carrie, I think this is a great move for a partner and mature on her part. She doesn't give advice right away. She says, what do you think? And that's the best question. You want to know where their head's at. And he goes, I think it'll take a lot more than that. And I'm like, oh, God, are we on the verge of him just turning Carrie into his therapist for his ex, his relationship with his ex, which that sucks if that's what's happening. But he says, she cheated on me. That's how it ended. And she killed me. And I was dead until you brought me back to life, basically. And then that's when she says, that's the moment when she thought this might be real now. Like, now we're talking for real. They've sort of, they've moved past just hooking up and having a good time, and now they're getting to like the next layer, I think. So that she adds that to the three other important firsts.
Now, isn't this like almost exactly what happened with Aiden though, where like, didn't she have sex with Big before. I don't know.
Carrie monkey bars it, dude. She monkey bars. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't reach for the next bar without still holding on to the one before.
Right. But like that's the first time she and Aiden broke up was because like she had sex with Big before they were officially a thing, before she and Aiden were a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is like she's doing the exact same thing.
And how does that make you feel, John?
It makes me angry.
Yeah.
I did write down that I was dead until you thing too. That was very good. It was very inspiring. And a little more inspiring, I think, for you, Kevin, is I think you've got a better body than Ron Livingston. I'll say it. And I think you've got a better beard thing going on. I'm just saying.
You. Oh, man.
Why isn't Kevin getting Ron Livingston parts?
John, I appreciate that. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate your support.
Can we cast Ron Livingston in a thing and you're like his son or something?
I would love that. I don't know how old he is. We talked before. By the time this episode airs, I'll be 38. So I don't know if it
all he has to be is like 15 years older than you. He fucks his nanny and then he has a kid.
Yeah, I don't think he's 15 years old.
No. All right, I'll Google this right now. You talk for a minute about
okay,
something about Ron Livingston.
Yeah, I'll do. Well, and the reason I don't think he's 15 years older is because the first time I became aware of him, I was 14 years old. Actually, so he could be. He could have been 29 at Swingers time. Because
how old are you?
I'm about to be 38 years old, John. I'm 3 months older than you.
It's impossible. I can't do that math off the top of my head. He's actually, hey, happy birthday to Ron Livingston. He just turned, as of the airing of this, he just turned 53 years old.
What's his birthday?
June 5th.
Oh, okay, sweet. That's fun. So he's 53. Man, he looks great for 53, but I appreciate you saying, I mean, this is a long time ago. So
yeah, it was a long time ago. Yeah, so 16 years ago or whatever. When this
John, thank you. Because I did say previously that someone was talking about Livingston not being good looking, and I was like, oh, I take that hard because I feel like that's kind of the type I am or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate.
Oh, I never said he was good looking. Did I say that?
No.
Did I say that? Was that in my notes?
No,
okay.
no.
No, you're good looking, Kevin. You're a better looking. I'm saying you're Ron Livingston plus.
I know that's yes, and I thank you. I appreciate that.
So they solidify their relationship. They're actually wild about each other now. They're going steady. So Carrie cannot do phone sex with Big anymore. So she does the grown up thing. She actually does the grown up thing, and she calls Big to tell him no mas.
The breakup after the breakup. It's an interesting thing to have to do, you know, to be like, they broke up messy, then they got back together kind of, and then not really, and then, you know,
she went cross country to tap that ass.
Sure.
So that does open the door.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's shutting the door now.
Yeah, and that is it's tricky, and I think we see that played out here. She calls him, and he just has the divorced dad bingo card completely filled out here, where he's got cigar, wine, hot tub, like just everything, and just by himself. When his phone rings, he pops up from underwater. Like, were you drowning yourself? Was that the move?
I definitely thought he was like blowing some lady under the water or something.
Man. Yeah, that would be impressive. He's like, I'm so good at blowing ladies, I need a degree of difficulty. Throw some yeah. But he talks to her, and then you can see him get hurt about it, because I think he got comfortable with this level of relationship with Carrie and just thought it would always be there. And when she's saying, you know, I gotta go, it can't be this anymore, you know.
It just always seems to me like if you're this guy is supposed to be like very, 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 very rich, basically, and it just always seems like, man, like this guy probably has like a couple different irons in the fire. So like, how devastated can he be that like this one person that he bangs and calls or whatever, like what he calls her every couple of weeks? It doesn't seem like that regular.
No, but I think it's the one he has in his head always, that no matter. I think in his
No
head,
matter what, I can go back to this.
well, maybe there might be some of that, but I think maybe more than that is he thinks their lives, they're both messes. Their lives are both messy, and ultimately they'll land with each other, maybe. And then at least she's always a possibility in his head. So the fact that she's letting him go here, I think, is him being like, and I think he plays it well. Chris Noth plays it pretty well here, where you can tell he's like hurt.
Well, you always want to no sell it, dude. You never want to appear hurt.
Gotta no sell it. Yeah, gotta no sell
it. You can't let him see that you're hurt, man.
Oh, I've never sold a breakup. I've never been, yeah,
dude. Yeah, I got someone. Yeah, the one with the ex broke up with me, and I was like, I know so much that I was like, wait, should I have fought harder for this? Should I have spoke up? But I was so like concerned with not selling it that I was like, yeah, oh, you want to, yeah, break up with me? Sure, that's the smart move.
Yeah, definitely do that. Let's not hang anymore.
Yeah. No, yeah. And it was like, and then afterwards I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah, that was
bad.
Yeah.
That was a rough one. But
But yeah, I think this is the first time Big is dumped. Like the other times it's always been like a messy situation or whatever. So this is the first time, and she's not being aggressive about it, but it's the first time she's being the one to tell him I'm ending this. And I think that's different for him.
She didn't do that with Aiden one of the times.
Maybe she did, but she was still fucking him, though.
I don't know. Maybe we'd have to check the notes.
We've been doing this every week for a long time. I
will say his like little setup looked nice, though. I mean, I don't know if it's middle-aged dad thing like you're talking about.
No, it's the setup is great. Just the lineup of like involving a cigar and red wine in a hot tub by himself was big. To me,
and it was like a nice like sunset. I assume it was sunset, just based on geography.
Sure, it's mainly a green screen with mountains, I think. Yeah,
right. But it was like a nice color.
Yeah,
dude, I got to pee so bad.
Dude,
I gotta pee so bad. So we got to bring this home. We got to bring it home.
That's all I have for the episode.
But what we were saying about her and like Big, like he thought inevitability, the long arc of this show is going to bend towards me and Carrie getting together. I think that too. But now we got Jack Beef in the mix, and he now seems like he can go the distance.
And so much pressure on Ron Livingston, the actor, to come in after Big and Aiden and have to be a guy.
And Bon Jovi?
And Bon Jovi and two Justin Theroux, to be a guy who the audience has to accept and think, maybe this is it for Carrie? That's a lot of pressure as an actor, man. No. So, yeah, and the character's weird, but whatever. I think he's doing what he can do. That's this episode. We're going to be back next week. This is we're doing this episode. We just so you guys know, this is it's delayed. This is the worst America's ever been, but we're going to still keep talking about Sex and the City.
Maybe it got better, Kevin.
I know. We recorded this. You probably can tell how many weeks in advance we recorded this if we're saying this. But my name's Kevin McCaffrey. That's John Daly. You can follow us at Sex and the City. It's on Instagram, at Sex City. It's pod on Twitter. And John, is there anything before we leave?
I bought you a sound machine. We're married now.
Yeah, that's not a surprise. Bye.